We mis Oh, thank you, Carrie. I was just telling a funny story. We mistake, the things, right? Um, we mistake the glitter, or we mistake the look. Uh, we mistake, and we're going to talk about that today in chapter 8, because we mistake not only the things around us as needing to be more, I'll use that language, or the opposite of that, maybe not being enough somehow. And then we solidify it, is chapter 8. And then we say, we are insufficient. We are um, uh, insecure. We are angry. We are, um, as well as in moments, going into, Libby used the word grandiosity. I got it going on. You don't got it going on. And we can do that with our practice, I think, can't we? Our practice can become like a glittery ball, I think, a little bit. Like, well, I've got the practice, or I'm the practice, right? And in some way, uh, using it as an accessory uh, rather than as maybe someone would say basic ground of being. And though I didn't practice while in Dallas in the exact same way that I do here, I found it really um, maybe more important than ever because of all the glitter, because of all the stuff, because of all the. We were in a house with some friends of ours. I could not find any place in this house. It was so big. I finally got to a consistent bathroom, and I could find my way to our guest room. But other than that, I would just spin literally in in circles. And they have a 24-year-old son who found that quite amusing. So he became like my house guide. Like, let's just walk this way to the bathroom because I could not. And I realized I'm just spinning the whole time. Uh, like I couldn't find my way, uh, even in this house. And so I really recognized for myself um, that we can get caught in the swirl, sometimes called the worldly winds. You've heard me talk about that before. Um, and I'm the one who picked that. I said, I really want to have like a fun, big Christmas. And I knew where I could go with dear friends who I love. Um, it was really quite enjoyable. But I think we have to take that in measured doses um, also. So, really, in this holy season, whatever your root tradition, um, I would be you know, really be in joy, be playful. As beautiful as Dallas was, and as many lights as we saw, and beautiful crafted drinks, and uh, the truth was, about 2 days in, uh, you're kind of done. You either have to go get bigger more, or you really just have to see it as a beautiful, like the most beautiful sunset, and recognize that that's not always going to be, that's not life. And my practice became really important. Times of quiet, I noticed, particularly early morning. We started slowly, which was beautiful. And then we took a break in the midday because it was just so much. And I think that's ultimately one of the things our practice gives us, which is a refuge from that grasping, uh, hungry ghost quality of just more and more and more and more and more. And I still bought those big balls for the mantle. So, right. all of this in holding it lightly. Also, you're right. So doesn't mean you can't have decorations, or this is not the point at all. Finding way, that middle way. Uh, and again, to just look at it and participate with friends for 2 days was great fun. And to have to be pursuing that always uh, would make you nauseous, for sure. I came home, interestingly, another just metaphor for this. I came home saying, I'm not even going to drink lattes anymore. There's just too much milk in it. Like literally, just too muchness of it just really hit me. Like, first, you don't need all that. And then I feel obligated to drink it because it's been made. Really, like, probably not. Like, really, just a little of it would be more than enough. And sometimes we come to this by having been in an experience that's so big, right? That's so grand, that's so, and like I said, I think one of two things happens. Either you got to go get more of it, uh, one habit, or you reject it completely, like none of that. And the Buddha himself, by the way, went through some of those experiments. Like, do you just not do it at all? Or do you just chase it? And the answer is neither, right? We're always looking for that balance. Like, little is fun and great, had great time with friends, really. And I came home going, lattes are too big. Lattes are just too big. And I feel grateful for that. And I know I wouldn't have likely been able to touch that had it not been for the practice, had it not been for the practice itself, to go, really, what are the effects of this? What is the impact of this? What does this require? Uh, and so we're going to sit today now for 15 minutes silently. And then we're going to move into some of what Zonkni Rinpoche is recommending for the practice, which is finding a way to rest as we have been, once again, in that luminosity of an essence love, which he approached first, this relationship, he calls it the handshake with our feeling self. But we're now also going to begin to form relationship, the same spacious, loving relationship with thoughts, with perceptions, with bias, with prejudice. We're going to hold them in the same way, recognizing them in their ever flowing, changing, non substantial, non solid, non fixated uh, reality, right? And so the I am blank is really part of what these practices begin to untangle, is one of the words in the sutta. Isn't it? Don't you love that? Untangle, unknot, untie. Words like unfettered, right? Can you feel the essence? Like free, flowing, easeful, uh, but also not huge. This is not a tidal wave of effect. This is that small, rippled effect of the quality of self that we cannot take ownership of at all. Lovely, not at all. So, your good hair day, just a moment. Your bad hair day, just a moment. You're angry, just a moment. Your thought that this is horrible and it's going to go, just a moment. And can we relate to everything then as precious in that moment, this moment, right then? And so we're going to investigate that together. Take a sip of your whatever you have there, tea or a smaller coffee is my goal for the rest of the year. I think I'll go to New Zealand in February with a little less. That'd be good. So got that sip. Let's find a comfortable posture. I'm going to try to make sure everybody can hear me, recognizing my voice drops. So finding that posture and taking a moment. I've got a shawl on today. It feels really supportive this morning. See if you can make contact with what you need this morning. Nice big in breath. Hold it just for a second at the top and release the body. And then release that out breath. Ah. And then letting the breath flow naturally. I'm just going to instruct this for a moment. While we rest in that vast, open, ever luminous. I love this idea because the perception is often of something dark and empty, right? This is the fear that we have about space. Uh, the truth is not this. The truth is you yourself, consciousness itself, luminous awareness, lighting the candle in the dark. You. And letting that consciousness move right through you, which is also vast open space, by the way, in case you forgot. And so there's this vast open spacious field we call me, ever changing, ever moving, relating, interacting, playing, interconnecting, interdependent with that vast open field all around. And we're simply going to rest in that field, ever expanding, ever luminous, for the next 15 minutes, and then I'll move on into some guided practice. And may this practice be a benefit to all those in need. And to all those who have, may we be the gift. Feeling the sense of that luminous, bright light shining on everything. And the light itself is not fixed, it arises and passes as it makes contact with the reality of this being alive, contact with the breath, objects, sounds, and sensations, all simply coming and going, mere appearance. Zonkni calls this the mereness eye, or the mere eye, simply arising in a moment and continuing in its flow into the next. Mostly vast open space. And see if there's anything in which you can truly cling or hold that is unchanging, unmoving, other than awareness itself. And then we begin to notice that as we abide that flow, that ever changing reality of the present moment, just this, there is freedom, ease, a calm abiding, a playfulness, a joy. Everything becomes that beautiful, magical, glittery moment in its appearance. Like a twinkling star, a candle flame, a dewdrop, a lightning bolt. So is this the reality of you and all phenomena, simply arising and passing. Just enjoy the flow of the river. Each breath, each sensation, each thought, a mere appearance. everything ungraspable. There truly is nothing upon which to fixate, not an identity, not an emotion, not a fear, not a concept. We, just like the breath, just like the sensation, just like these perceived identities, biased thoughts, mere appearance, nothing to hold, grasp, or cling to at all. And then we begin to recognize the true cause of our suffering. It is in the wish to solidify, to reify, to grasp, to cling, to make permanent all of these beautiful and brilliant appearances. See if you can just release them, letting the breath take them. See if you can let yourself go with the very next breath. No longer this. And flowing directly into the next. Being fully present, completely aware, enjoying that brilliant appearance of me, of I, of mine, just this one breath. We let it be and then we let it go. Opening completely, receptive, vast, spacious, so that we can fully arrive here. And then, whatever the thoughts, we simply recognize them in the same way, a beautiful, brilliant appearance. Thoughts about the day, thoughts about the to do list, thoughts about others, no more stable, no more solid, no more fixed than the breath itself. And life is like a mirror. And so the more solid we make ourselves, we cling, grasp, hold, and fixate, the more we do it to the world, to reality, to this concept of other. We solidify the goodness, the badness, the rightness, the wrongness, as we do ourselves. We can frequently solidify our own goodness, our own rightness, by solidifying the other as bad or wrong or broken. Can we rest back in the wind like a flowing river like quality of reality that is the truth of all things? Your favorite thing and the thing you hate the most, all the same. And see if you can check into the body. And if you're able to stay in this flow, in this luminous awareness itself that abides all things, clings to none, right? See if you don't notice that ease. And then we can really rest in a certain kind of calm that comes first. And from that calm, we've talked about a certain kind of joyfulness and energy, a curiosity and interest that comes. Wow, everything changing every breath, including me. And you may also then notice the resting back required. We are not the movie screen, that we are not the projector, we are not the characters in the plot. We can rest back and enjoy it all. We're not even the audience. Nothing graspable. And then for just a moment, I'd like you to take your favorite storyline, whatever that is. It's something often like, if only this, then I could be easeful or happy or okay. And see what you're grabbing onto. What are you solidifying or reifying, making solid that is in fact only that mere appearance? Is it the other? If it is, then it's certainly also you. Are you the victim, the perpetrator, the witness? Are you the angry one, the depressed one, the scared one, the worried one? Not so, not so. And what does it mean to let go of that story about self and or other and or life? It means we come to abide the constant reality of change, the continuous flow of the river, every breath, every moment. Nothing to cling to and nothing to reject. Just resting back in that open space, letting go of any investigation or inquiry, remembering who we really are, open, spacious, luminous light, only if and may this practice contribute to our awakening and the awakening of others until all beings are and happy and free. So be it. Just taking a moment, taking your time. Remember, even the felt sense of a stuckness, maybe in the body, maybe in the mind, simply an appearance. Not so, not so. I'm going to just check here while we're reorienting. Ah, right. And then we can hopefully, I hope you can feel where the cause of suffering is and then where it isn't, right? Can you feel it where it is? Any momentary grasp, right? The cause of all suffering. And then we understand better, I think, why we focus so much in the practice on concepts like impermanence, right? Because we're pointing over and over to the continuous reality of this human life and all life. And without the experience of it, though, I notice myself that it just becomes language, really, without understanding. And what we're going to be looking at today in chapter 8 is how to cultivate that felt sense in the practice so that even in moments of daily life, when it feels so real, so solid, so fixed, we can laugh. Like, ha, what a, what a construction. Only a concept. Nothing, nothing, nothing fixed. And then we practice abiding it so that we learn how to be in each moment, each breath without ground, we call it, right? This is the falsely fixated idea. If I could only fix that, if I could only know that, if I could only hold that, if I could only get rid of that, then I could be all right, is not true. It is not true. So whatever it is you thought you needed to get rid of, call that coworker, forget about it. No problem. No problem. Doesn't mean there isn't the appearance of things. The appearance is the appearance. It is resting also on conditions, just like your view is resting on conditions, isn't it? It is not clear seeing either because you have fixated that, called that guy, this person, that partner, this friend who did or didn't, right? This job, this, right? And then as people have heard me say, the rug burn begins because nothing, we can't hold on to any of it at all. And then because we are seeking the solidity of a fixed reality, we get scared. Like, what if that goes? What if that's not solid? What if that doesn't stay fixed? What if, right? And remember, we are now the cause of our suffering. It is not the thing moving. It is not the thing changing. It is not the thing in its appearance at all that is our problem. It is the fixated reality that we are struggling with and the cause of all suffering. Do we get this idea? Can you understand what I'm saying about, right? And so then we know, says the Buddha, we know the cause of suffering every breath moment. It is you fixating something, you, it, or other, however you're getting to it. And then if we could see it simply, just in its recognition, remember, we are once again unhooked, unfettered, untangled, unknotted, which is our goal. And that's actually called true happiness and freedom. Then we just enjoy the ride, right? Like we, uh, even in difficult moments, we don't get as hooked into those as permanent or fixed or either. This leads to, interestingly, says the neuroscience, by the way, better responses to things, better responses. We have more available because we are not contracted back in how do I keep it? How do I fix it? How do I grab it? How do I at all? We're just resting in more space. Guess what we can see from that view? Everything. We have a much wider lens for solution, possibility, a way of holding it. And then, right, the right, I can this, or is much more available to us than all of that contracted state that will always lead to more problems. We're actually almost recreating the problem in that contracted state, interestingly. I noticed this myself when I have what I call these kind of typical responses to things. And I have to remember that that typical response is actually a condition upon which the thing I didn't want is occurring. It is that itself, my reactivity, my contractedness, my not liking or not wanting, that actually becomes a part of the field in which this thing is now occurring that cannot occur that way if I do not provide that condition. Now, what's going to occur? I don't know. I haven't dropped in on that. I've been so busy rejecting or changing or trying to make happen or right that I can't even see the vaster, greater reality of possibility. Right? We get this. Any thoughts or questions on this before we move on to the Kindle? I know you know what I'm saying. The practice then becomes just this. This is why the Zen are so, in the Zen tradition, for example, are so pith in their statements. It's like you can't hold on to any of it. So why talk about it so much? What would you say other than there it went, appearing and disappearing, here and gone, come and go? What, right? You couldn't, what could really be grasped? And in that tradition that I appreciate so much, really, they say it is unspeakable, that there's really nothing to grab and hold and fix. And so they say less than more. And in the Dzogchen tradition, they don't say anything, they barely offer instruction. They barely offer the instructions. There's no, very unlike Vipassana, find the breath, hold the breath. Now, by the way, we're not in any way being judgmental or critical of that. We're saying you have to stabilize the mind to see what is also unmoving, don't you? That unmoving spaciousness, that unmoving awareness. Also, you need some stability. Otherwise, you're caught in the swarm of thoughts as fixed, real, permanent, solid, and of your believed thoughts, right, in particular. And so we're learning just how to unhook a little bit over and over, right? Just get out of there, get out of there. Um, this reminds me a little bit of my gardener and I in the garden one summer, and he accidentally won, who is a dear friend really now, not just a gardener at all. He hits something near our bee box, and the bees come out in a swarm, and he starts with the shovel uh, batting the bees away. And I'm saying, Juan, stay still, stay still. And it takes everything he's got. He's actually quite afraid of bees. He must have been bitten in May, right? And I can see he's sweating literally as he puts the shovel down. And of course, what do the bees do? They simply swarm around him, doing all the things they do and move away, right? And it was such a beautiful example for me of what we're all doing with this bee moment of reality, like, huh, 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 right? And really just be still, be the open space, right? In which the bee simply arises and passes, no problem. Even when you're stung, really, then, okay, then in comes a sensation and it feels like heat and it feels like, right, burn, and then, right, and it too, by the way, comes and goes. Nothing uh, to fixate on. And let's say you're allergic to bees. Well, then wow, noticing that and going, so then I move with that into getting the care that I need, right? It doesn't mean you don't do anything. That stillness is not, doesn't mean nothing. It is required for the correct view. So doesn't mean do nothing. Stand there and go, then it'll all work out. Well, you do what you know to do. And then sometimes in the stillness, others I notice are more available to you, because when you're batting things around, you're also batting at others in a similar way. They cannot get near you either in that process. So let me see. I've got a check here. Okay. I've got the glasses on. I scratched an eye. Again, temporary moment, coming and going, nothing to cling to there either, but I can't see for right now. So let's see if we can get to the Kindle and take a look at that together. Let me move this up. At least I know how to get to share now with that thing in the way. All right, so we're on chapter 8. And I'm going to look for some help. You guys can see them. Let's see if we can't go back to the beginning of chapter 8. I think, I don't know why I can't really remember the title of this off. A deeper look. I love that. I love the idea of the deeper. Let me see if I can get us back to the beginning of this chapter 8, a deeper look within. So deeper, I love that because what we see when we look deeper is what? What do we see when we look deeper? We see that everything is that temporary appearance, that nothing is fixed, solid, permanent. Right? This is the idea. A deeper look within. You can see that I loved his first few. Libby can't see it because she's not on, but I have really just highlighted most of the first few chapters. So I'm going to be somewhat quick about this. Uh, he says the explanation, the deeper look within. I've got what I wanted from meditation. I'm calmer. This is a common belief thought. And now that I'm calmer, I'm good. I'm done. I feel better. This is only the beginning, he says, and it in fact is true. The calmness is just the beginning. So to begin to with stability, with stillness, see more clearly reality. Most people do not continue the practice beyond that first initial sukkur, it's called, which is I feel a little better. Now I'm going to quit and go about my merry way, except it doesn't work. With all the goodness, all the benefit of the calm does not abide without your practice, neither does the view. You have to be coming from that place very continuously in order to relate to yourself, others, and life with that same calm, joy, tranquility, and serenity. We have only begun to open our mind's inner potential, he says. We can use being more calm and clear to sharpen our insights through the practice called vipassana, that is, the breath awareness practice, which means superior vision or better. I like better, the concept of inquiry, constant recognition, seeing things as they are, seeing the objects as objects, recognizing mind states as mind states, right? This is really important stuff to see what's happening, what's going on here, what is the cause of my ease and or my suffering. And we need to understand this. It's very important and essential in order for the practice to develop to this abiding quality of tranquility and ease. Calmness and insight work together. Such a critical statement. Work together. They are not separate towards this view, understanding, and the capacity to continue this inner inquiry. The analogy they gave was of trimming weeds, which is just either cutting them at the surface level so that you can't see them, or really then extracting them from the root. Words like eradicate are frequently used. Uprooted words means cannot reappear because it has now been completely eradicated. And that would include insight. I see this so clearly now. I don't need to continue in that habit nature. I was using the latte as the uh, right symbol. I don't really, there's no benefit. I don't need all that. It's not really helpful. Uh, I don't need to do anything else with it. I just need less. In fact, I probably don't need it at all. Um, uh, Truly need, but I think there's a way to have relationship to it that is more skillful. Calmness is like trimming them back. Insight is like pulling them out, eradication. With calmness, we have found a valuable tool, but not addressed the underlying cause of our suffering. For that, we need deeper understanding. That's the definition of the Vipassana, clear seeing, insight. He then goes on to explain reification, one of the views that we can tend to hold of the self, the tendency to make things concrete, real, than they really are. I use reification to mean, he uses another word that I like, solidifying, imputing a solid, imputing means to put upon, to place upon, imputing a solid, fixed reality onto what? Things, not really self, really more self. Reifying is like believing a dream. This mere appearance is real and more importantly, fixed. But those two words, real and fixed, are very important. We relate to almost everything as if it is real and fixed. This is the essential cause of our suffering, and then, by the way, our unskillfulness. We automatically reify our perceptions, our experience of an I who is subject and what's in the world as the that, the other, the thing, and all causing problems. The problem here, reification leads to mental and physical contractedness or tightness. This sets us up for problems. Certainly, things like increased anxiety, distress, disappointment, right? Aggression, all comes from this contractedness, stubbornness, heaviness, and flexibility. The more we reify, the harder it is to relax, to laugh at ourselves, to find true joy, and to be open. All about me. He says that in these next few. I'm only going to pick a few out of here. We've already said this. The good news is that, like any habit, this too can be recognized, and in its recognition, will be changed as we see that it is ineffective, as we see that it causes our distress and our suffering. There will be no reason to keep doing it. Most of us don't see it. Why? We're looking out. What is the cause out there? We've most people do not go, the way I am seeing this, the way I am relating to this, the way I am holding this in view is the problem, not the thing, right? We go, no, it's that condition, that circumstance, that, and then we solidify it all the more. Reifying tendency fixates on a strong sense of ownership and identification. Me, I, and mine become very important. People and things are evaluated for what they're giving you or what they cause you, right? You are good because you make me feel good. You are bad because you make me feel bad. We think there should be some kind of reliable certainty. We know this is a ground we're always seeking, and we will seek continuously, endlessly, tire and become exhausted and weary from this wish for something stable and solid to rest upon. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It means it's not out there. There is a place to rest upon. There is ease available this present moment. Where is it? In the inner space of your vast luminous awareness, in your spaciousness. We can often get sick. When something tough happens, the mind becomes turbulent, agitated. We talked about the hindrances last 2 Saturdays ago. So we know that this is all part of it. As we familiarize ourselves with inherent uncertainty, this is what we call impermanence, by the way, we can become more resilient. As we see things coming and going, we learn more and more how not to grasp and cling, right? Because we see it in its temporary, ephemeral nature. We just don't grab it as much as we used to. And also, we don't reject it as much as we used to. Just a moment arising and passing. It's not a void like nihilistic. We already talked about that. It's not nothing. It's not black. It's not empty. Those words are used, but that's not what it actually means. It means is not inherently existing, independent of the conditions around it, within it. The Buddha knows what conventions are and how to use them. Conventional life means we put our pants on, we buckle our belts, we floss our teeth, we comb our hair. We live in this real world, but we don't mistake it, once again, for what is most essential. These are conventions, right? Based on culture, based on family, based on time, where we are currently. But this does not mean that these are things that are going to invite our inherent ease. Even when you get your pants on, doesn't mean you're going to have an easeful day. And pants still good things to do. Maybe we think it's independent, or maybe we think it's some independent thing. Oh, we talk about, I pointed that out because soul, we tend to use the word soul as that in me which continues. This is dangerous, not because it's not a lovely idea, but because there is no permanent you ever. The you that's now in the middle of my sentence is different than the you that's now. And it is so fast, so particled, so fleeting that we mostly see it like a movie, as a bunch of continuous things, when really there are a bunch of captured millisecond particled moments. And when we forget that, we tend to bring the past with us. We tend to anchor to that and also anticipate futures like we uh, believe we can know them, all causing certain habitual reactions. The body and mind keeps changing. It's composed of many parts, sure. The four eyes. I didn't love this. Why? It's just more languaging with more words, but I love the ideas. So the concepts are important. So I'm going to try to focus more on them than the languages he uses. So he comes up with four eyes. The first one is the mere eye. It's the opposite. It is the cloud-like appearance, the mere arising and passing, the mereness, he calls it, of things. By mere appearance is where he got the word mere. Nothing to hold on to, nothing to keep, nothing to fix. Love that. Somebody could call that selflessness. Somebody else could call it um, arising and passing self, right? These would all be words that would be apt or apply. He uses mere here. And just acknowledging that everything changes, including the one who is experiencing or looking. Or um, it's flexible, simple. It has basic okayness in it. To connect with the mirror eye, we have to learn to let go of everything fixed and solid. The reified eye is the solidified eye. I'm not going to say much more about it because we've been talking about it pretty much the whole time. It's going to cause suffering. It's going to fixate you. It's going to have you move into self cherishing, self clinging habits, um, tight, contracted, uh, and how to keep it um, safe, I would say. The more solid we make things, the more we want to protect it and make it safe. It believes itself a little too much rather than the passing flow of experience with looseness, ease, joy, playfulness. It fixates, concretizes, makes heavy, weighted, and leads to suffering. The needy self develops out of the reified self. It's the one that we uh, become more self centered. I need, I've got to have, I've got to get. It feeds greed, right? And also aversion. You've got to go away. You've got to be over there because it's solidified both I and other. By missing the mirrorness, we've lost touch with our basic groundlessness. This is a word we often don't like: openness, freedom, fluidity, and playfulness. Now, those are words we tend to like. The reified I itself is problematic. We mistakenly think our reified I is lacking something. It is actually, it's lacking air because as we solidify, we contract. And as we contract, we lose the natural ease and flow of being alive. Happiness exists interdependently. I thought that was an important statement. He says it means we have to take care of others and their well being in order for our own happiness to truly exist. I have never seen, I will tell you in all my years of therapy, a person who is self cherishing be happy. I have never seen it. In fact, I've seen only suffering as a result. What about me? What about mine? What about this? Why don't I have it? How do I get it? How do I keep it? And it's continuous and perpetuating. Just blah, blah, blah. There's no ease. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter who's in your life. You're just in that constant, what about me? What about me? What about me? The needy eye is asking that question all the time. What about me? Well, you are always an essential part of the flow. You have just forgotten. It could not be otherwise. Could not be otherwise. The key sign of the self cherishing I is the selfish search. I wouldn't say for happiness. I wouldn't actually use the word. I think it's just for okayness. Like let me just find something in which to be finally okay. I think happiness is way too big a word there. I don't think it's seeking happy. I just want to be okay for a moment. And what could be stable so that I could be okay is the question that the needy eye asks. And guess what? There's never enough. You can't stabilize anything enough because it's just not possible. And so constant, right? Fear and clinging happens. We all know this part. The social I is the one that interacts with the world, the one that says, I have a job here, I have a role, I have a relationship, I'm going to play my part, I'm going to do what I'm asked to do. I think he uses the Dalai Lama, which I thought was really quite lovely. The Dalai Lama laughs at his own title. It's like, I don't know how I got here. I'm just a monk, right? And if you ask, that's what he will say. He also understands, though, that he has a role. And in that role, he has made choices about certain responsibilities. He has taken that on himself. I will then act in this role, in the desire to save others from suffering. This is the truth of the Bodhisattva, then. So the Bodhisattva says, I will undertake this task of saving all beings, though it is ridiculous. because it's so impossible and so failed. But I'm going to take it on, even though I know it. You're just always in, well, not quite working on it, right, improving it, trying to see more clearly, trying to be more compassionate continuously, right? So it's a completely failed endeavor that you take on lovingly. And the Dalai Lama is a beautiful example, right? He is the president of the universe, he's got the title. And so what does he do? He says, he laughs. Okay, then I will do my best at this impossible task, which I love. And his humility in the face of it is also beautiful. We want recognition, popularity. We want people on our side. We want people to agree with us. We believe people owe us. I find this interesting. Like you're supposed to be here for me in this way. And I think this is all the ultimately uh, some of the demands we can socially place on ourselves and on others. Permanence, singularity, and independence. I want to see what I think is most important here. We tend to perceive the self as permanent. We already know that. We talk about how it contributes to our suffering. The reality is more like a sparkling river than a collection of dead objects sitting in space. I love that line. Staying in touch with the flux, we can have right view. That's right view is the first of the Noble Eightfold Path, by the way. Seeing things clearly in their ever changing reality is the very first part of living this life on the Noble Eightfold Path. This too shall pass. I struggle with the language there always because sometimes we want it to pass and we try to brush it by. It is true that everything is impermanent, everything is ever changing, but also appearing now. And we have to factor that reality in as well. We have a tendency to do one or the other. We get stuck in it as if it's completely solid, or we brush it off completely, like, well, it'll just be over. Don't worry about it. Neither is skillful, right? We have to hold it in its appearance. We have to recognize it as it in its appearance. We have to recognize its conditions so that we can ultimately understand how it came to determine whether, right, how to respond to what will be a benefit, what will. But this too shall pass can be a cliche that I think we also have to be watchful of. There's another side to this called let's disregard everything.
I
Uh,
happen can
yeah,
I happen to disagree with that one. Sorry, but I actually can get grounded when I say or like this too shall pass makes me feel like you got this, you can do this, like this is, do it and it will pass. I don't know, that's the one thing I often say when there's like a crisis,
yes,
helps me. So I'm not
yes.
trying to be like disrespectful, but I that one thing I disagree with because it has
You
helped me many
misunderstood.
times.
Yeah, you misunderstood me. The truth of this too shall pass is beautiful. The acknowledging the truth is beautiful. The using it as a cliche is a problem. That's what I said.
Okay.
They're not the same. That's habit mind just going brush it off. It doesn't mean that's what that means at all. You are completely correct, Felicia. You are using it in its correct and understood meaning. But people often say, this too shall pass because they don't want to deal with it, not because they're dealing with it skillfully. But that doesn't mean that's always the way. That's just the other side of unskillful. It's just another way we have to be mindful that we are not just brushing something away.
Okay.
You're not using
Sorry.
it that way. Yeah. So thank you. That's a nice opportunity for clarifying. So thanks. You're using it exactly as it is intended. That's why it's working. Yeah. So thank you. I don't need anyone. Um, I'm not going to do anything because this too shall pass. These would not be skillful means. These will not be skillful. Recognizing that everything is impermanent is skillful, on the other hand. So that's what you're doing. Very different. The root of confusion is fixation, this solidifying, this making solid. And then we did the practice today. I don't feel like we need to go over that. And then I'm not going to go over once again Daniel Goleman, I don't think. I want to see if there's anything here I think is essential. You don't have to believe your thoughts, just recognizing them as thoughts is useful and also contributes to management of depression. We use that in depression treatment. I think, nope. Okay. Looks like we've gotten through that somehow. I think that was Daniel Goleman. I didn't realize that. All right. I think we're okay here. So then from this, I want to see where we're going. There's the neuroscience. Some final advice. This is the next thing. Does that seem right, Libby, in the book?
The next chapter.
Uh-huh. Epilogue. Okay, so we are in the right place. Grounded body, open heart, clear mind. We're going to be talking about the integration of all of this. I really like this. And we're going to be continuing to practice luminosity, this resting in open space, allowing the flow of everything, as Felicia says, as it is simply arising and passing with no solid ground. Nothing to grab. We both love this and hate this, don't we? We both love this and hate this. We love it when we're able to be a part of the flow. We hate it when we're trying to get something solid and fixed under our feet. We're going to see if we can't keep practicing. I'm going to look at chat here. The hard part to recognize is when someone is not good for us and move on. Yes, I was always taught to see the positive and stuff down the negative. Yes, we want to just see things as they are and be careful about the labeling, for sure, making positives and negatives. And by the way, acknowledging this hurts, this feels bad, this, and then always looking in both directions, both at ourself, not just at the situation, because how we hold it determines whether it becomes the cause of suffering or the cause of ease and our benefit. So, right, we're always looking at that. But yes, we very frequently quickly name things good, bad, positive, negative. Yeah, the social I get stuck there. It's very hard to do. We can go, I have a job, I have a role, this is what I'm supposed to do. Then we don't do actually what is right. I mean, good, not correct, as it relates to ourself and others. My example is here I was in Dallas with friends. There were 3 things planned. I said, you know what? I think we might just need rest. I don't know if we need to go running off to Fort Worth to get that next thing on the list in. I don't know if we need to go one more place to do one more thing. I think just resting in it, enjoying the goodness of it, and right, also finding some just ease and stillness could be useful. And there were my friends going, oh, thank God. Thank God you said it, because there we were getting ready to put the pants on, social role, do the thing we said we would do because we wrote it down. Not at all. Present moment has got more information. Let's just be here and relax and enjoy each other. We've already got so many of the beautiful other things. Can we have the courage to really speak to what's really arising in ourselves, around us? Right? Wouldn't that be amazing? We could really protect each other, I think, in a pretty profound way by just going, I think it's okay. We don't have to do everything that we constructed on the list. I think Greg might not be here anymore, but we have St. Andrews next Tuesday. We will be shopping. So please, I will put in the chat our giving link. Anybody who would like to either donate food or monies can go to this link or to the Venmo, which I don't have offhand, but um, I know it's under Encinitas Mindfulness, to make a contribution. This is our last contribution to St. Andrew's Food Pantry this year. We will be shopping on Tuesday of next week, which I think is the 17th. Does that seem right? Yes, so that's the 17th. On the 19th, that's a Thursday night, we are providing some support, not the full Sangha, some support to fill a belly. Those people have already been made their contribution. They're going to be there to serve. We are going to be collecting socks. If anybody wants to drop some off, come on Saturday with some socks. We'll be delivering some socks with us for the community um, because we have heard there's a need there. I think it's just gotten colder. And it's
Hey,
like,
Diana, uh,
yes,
I have a bunch of those sweaters and jackets from my client that I was gonna bring
yeah,
to. Yeah, I don't have the socks, but he's also gonna go
that's
through
fine.
other things.
No, bring
Okay,
whatever. Yeah. And
okay,
what I'll do is call Randa again and have her tell me when she wants us to deliver those.
okay,
She does not want those out to the group because there can tend to be a swarm.
right.
So she wants to make those available in the way they do. So let me call Randa, Tanya, and then I will make sure everybody knows what to do with those items.
Okay, and if
Right.
not, I know that St. Andrews also takes those too. So
They
whichever
do.
one,
They do.
do.
I'll call Randa and then let everybody know.
Okay, sounds perfect.
I do know they're looking for socks, but I also know they were looking for jackets. I think everybody's looking for socks and jackets, so I don't think there's a wrong direction.
No, and it's male and female stuff that I've gotten as well. So
Lovely. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. That's
yeah,
going to make a
And
big difference. Being
and
warm and
Operation
cold
Hope,
weather. Yeah. Yeah. Say it again. Sorry.
sorry, Operation Hope is looking for brand new children's pajamas. If anybody happens to be out and find something you want to contribute, it's a
All
nice.
right.
And
Thank you.
Diane, are you saying that if we also like have blankets and tents and coats, that we should not take them on Thursday night?
No, I will call Randa because she gets worried when we come with them. People get excited and start
Okay,
grabbing at things. She
okay,
wants that to be a little more managed so
sure.
that they can get them to the people who really need them, not
Okay,
just the people who got to them first.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a carload full right
Okay.
now.
Lovely.
So if you can let me know where to
I
deliver them,
will.
I can deliver them anywhere.
Thank you. Randa last time had us drop it off earlier
Okay.
before the group arrived at the church, but I'm going to call her today and make sure that we know exactly where those things should go. And thank you all for all of your effort, your commitment. You're looking for things that makes all the difference. You just have to be out on a cold night to
Should
know the
we bring
difference.
that stuff on Saturday or are you going before?
I will be going to Philabelly next Thursday, so you can bring it on Saturday.
Okay.
Yep, yep, also. So we're doing that. In addition, we are continuing our match, one-to-one match. We have now given our money to Shelter Box because we caught their double match last Tuesday on Giving Tuesday, but we're continuing now. Any additional monies collected will be going to Water for People and Action Against Hunger, our other two. And we're just looking to see if there are opportunities for doubling there. Those are smaller charities. And so I don't think yet have quite the support that World Central Kitchen, where we got a 3-time match to our double, and Shelter Box had a double match. So I don't know the dollar amount we've contributed yet either. We'll get that and make sure that we share that on Saturday as well. We will be in the garden on Saturday. I would dress warm because I don't know what the weather's been like. I just got back on San Diego ground. I'm not sure, but just know we'll be here. I think there are going to be 2 heaters that come downstairs, which would probably be just a nice thing in case it's cool. And being together is important. Practice time together is very important. And we're meeting with the board tonight, Tuesday night, and we're going to be talking a little more about how to support that this time together as well. So thank you all so much. I know that you all had a chance on Zoom with Greg on Saturday. I know it was important, meaningful, and good news. Thank you, Greg. And I'll look forward to seeing you all this Saturday with Greg on this Thursday. And I believe Dia or Jessica have been covering Sundays. I'm guessing, I'm not sure who's on one of them this week. Look at all this practice opportunity, right? Good news. Thank you all so much. Blessings to everyone. Thank you for hanging on for those public service announcements. I appreciate that. Be well, everybody. Bye-bye.